Hi, in this tutorial I'll continue discussing the Select and Transform tool and the options for that tool found in this bar here. The first one selects all objects or nodes, keyboard shortcut Control A, or we can click here. You see how that works. We can escape the selection using the escape key or this option here, which will deselect all objects or nodes. Now the next one here will select all objects in all visible and unlocked layers. Right now we have only one layer which is visible and unlocked, so if I click here I will again select all the objects. Let's escape that selection. Now let's click on this object here and use this option that rotates the objects 90 degrees counterclockwise, and the other one rotates them clockwise. Now this one will flip an object horizontally. You can use the H key. And this one flips an object vertically. You can use the V key to do that. Now let's select this circle here. This option lowers a selection to the bottom. So if I click that, I'll send this selection behind these two objects. This option will send a selection on top. You see how that works. Now this option will send a selection one step lower, which means that this circle will be behind the star, and this option sends a object one step, raises the object one step, which means if I click here I will raise this circle above the star. The next options here control the horizontal and vertical coordinate of a selection. So this basically controls where is our selection is positioned. So if I move this right now, you see these numbers change here, and you can use this to make more sophisticated positioning of your objects. Now the next one controls the width and the height of the object. Let's select this one, and you see I can increase the width of this object, let's say decrease the height, or if I lock them together I'll be, let's say, increasing the width and the height with the same proportion. We can choose to work in pixels, percentages, centimeters, millimeters, inches, feet. Now the next option here, when scaling object, scale the stroke width by the same proportion. So here we have an object that has a fill and a stroke, and if this thing is off and I start scaling it, you see that the stroke remains the same. Let's undo that, Control Z, and if I click on this one, you see how the stroke is scaled with the same proportion. So this is what this one controls. Now the next one here, when scaling rectangles, scale the radii of rounded corners. Now if this is off, let's select this object. Here we have a rectangle with rounded corners. Let's scale it up. You see how the radii of the corners here is not, it stays the same. If I select this to be on, we'll also be scaling the corners too. You see how that works. Now the next one here, move gradients in fill or stroke along with the objects. So if this is off, I have an object with a gradient here and move it, you see that I'm not moving the gradient. And if I make this to be on, I'm also moving the gradient, and that gradient does not change what we see inside the object. The next one here is the same thing, but applies to patterns. This pattern is not very, let's unclick that. You can't really see this. This what I will scale the object, and you see how that that pattern changes here when this is off. Let's make it on, and you see how the pattern moves along with the objects. So that's it for this tutorial, for this Select and Transform tool. If you like these tutorials, subscribe leave a comment and rate the videos, and bye for now.